Welcome to Stillworks and Brewing. My name's Randy. This is a channel that's all about home distillation and brewing. Today we're going to do another video in our Back to Basics series. Okay, so one thing I want to make sure you do is please hit one of them subscribe buttons down there. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss anything, and share us with your friends. Okay, so let's get started. Alright, so what we're going to do today is we're going to do a real quick overview of the process, in distilling. And then after that, part 2 of this is going to be about hydrometers. Okay, so in the process, the quick part of the process is not all that complicated. So first what we need something to ferment, sugar. So that's what the yeast eats to produce alcohol. So how can we get the sugars? I come up with there's 3 main ways. Okay, so if you're doing let's say a rum, a vodka, a neutral spirit or something like that, you can just go with a type of table sugar such. Table sugar, corn sugar, something like that. And then what you would do is you would just make a sugar wash. It would go down into the fermenter and you would ferment it out. Okay, the next thing would be fruits. Okay, so fruits, you're going to be making brandies. You can make flavored whiskeys or such like that, and it'd be the same way. It would go down into the fermenter, you ferment it out. The third way that I come up with is I call starches. Okay, you could be potatoes, it could be corn, it could be barley, rye, whatever such. Okay. But there's an extra process within the starches, and what we got to do is convert those starches over into sugars. And the way we do that is mainly in the barley, a malted barley. You'd have an enzyme in there called amylase enzyme that you would put it into your mash tun, and at a certain temperature, about 145, 155 degree water, and the enzyme would convert those starches into sugars. And that's what we would use down in the fermenter to make like a bourbon, a whiskey, such like that. So once we got our sugars, we're going to ferment them out. Okay, and then once we ferment them, it ends up going into your still. Okay, and you can have 2 main kind of stills. You can either have a pot or a reflux. Okay, the pot still, it usually comes off right around 140 proof, okay? And some of the flavors that you're going to carry over from the starches and the fruits will carry over into the distillate, okay? A reflux still is a little bit different, because it's a very efficient still. So you're going to be running somewhere in the 180 proof range. But the problem with that is that some of the flavors get stripped away and won't be as much as in the pot. You'll be making your gins and your vodkas and such with a reflux. So that is just a brief overview of, very quick, no details overview of the process. Okay, so we'll be back and we're going to talk about the hydrometers. We'll see you back in a minute. Welcome back. We're talking hydrometers. Today is back to basic about hydrometers. It's one of the most important pieces of information that you need to do when you're either brewing or distilling such. You need to know what you're starting with. You need that first data point you got to have. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I got a couple things interesting. This here is some of my fermented wash from my pumpkin whiskey. So we're going to try it out. So what we need to do, we're going to try to find what the specific gravity of it is. If you happen to seen that episode, you would know that we started out at 1.095. So let's see what we got now. And it is looking like, I would say 1.002. Okay, so let me take this down before I spill it or break it. Okay, so that was 1.095 OG. All right, now it is, after it's fermented, it is 0.002 FG, final gravity. And if you subtract that from the 0.095, it equals 0.093. And you times that by 131.25. So it comes out to be about 12.25% alcohol by volume. And we did a 6-gallon mash, so you can figure out how much alcohol that you have in that container. Okay, so one other thing I wanted to try to do is, this is, like I said, this is just a blast hydrometer. Okay, any place at the homebrew supply store you can get that. This is a refractometer. Now this is good for pre-fermentation. Once it's been fermented, these seem very inaccurate, so you would need to go with this. Okay, and then after the distillation, this is a proof and trails hydrometer, and that's going to tell you your proof of your alcohol, 40, 50, 100 proof, whatever the case may be. Okay, so just for, because we can, this here is just plain water. So let's drop in there and see what we got. And we are at 1.000 water. Okay, now if we take some of that and put on a refractometer, that's one way you can make sure these are calibrated. You put a couple drops on there, and you would, and it is same thing. So that's very important information. Now, what would happen? See, these two hydrometers here, they are different, they look alike, but basically it goes like, this is just this much of the scale, and then this is on up. If I drop this in there, this is the proof and trails. See how it floats? Remember, this one was way down there like that? Okay, so that's how it works. This is just a short video, back to basics. Enjoy the adventure. We'll see you next time.